7,000 unreached people groups.
It's time to stop letting our sermons die after Sunday morning. Are you missing out on opportunities for posting portions of your pastor's sermons throughout the week on social media due to a lack of time or just expertise in knowing how to repurpose this content? Well, in comes a service like SermonShots that we have been utilizing to do just that, and I'm going to tell you about it in this video today. This video is sponsored by SermonShots. One of the best benefits of live streaming our services week in and week out is that they are content generation engines for our social media platforms throughout the week. Your sermons that your pastor is preaching are filled with clippable anecdotes that are perfect for short form video. The problem is that, I don't have time to sort through a 30-minute sermon, go through Premiere or even CapCut or something like that, and find that perfect thing, create all the captions, do all the stuff like I was doing for months, and it just became a little too time intensive. Well, along comes a service like SermonShots, and it solves a lot of those problems and adds a lot of other benefits that made it worth it for me to make a video like this for you guys, saying, I think this is probably something you should check out for your church. SermonShots is more than just a short form video editor for your social media. They offer tons of AI powered tools that can fuel things like daily devotionals for your church, repurposing your sermon content into small group discussion questions, sermon quote images, sermon thumbnails, discussion guides, and much more. So you're going to want to check out those features that SermonShots offers. So when you log into SermonShots, you're going to see a few options here on the left-hand menu system. And we're going to be jumping into the repurpose sermons in the SermonShots area. You see they have Sermon Send and Sermon Live, which is shareable pages. That is your repurposed content for your sermon. And then live translation, which is pretty cool. But you can see here, we actually live stream directly via RTMP into SermonShots via Restream. So that is there already ready to go. We don't have to add a YouTube link. You can do that, and then it will populate the video if you don't have that ability, but just know that's how we do it. So I'm going to click on this week's sermon or our whole service, and then we're going to do create a new clip. Then you're presented with some options on how to format your reel. We're going to say reel because we're doing this for Instagram, and YouTube is our platform, so we're going to be posting these on. So we're going to go with vertical. And then once you go through the plethora of different templates here, if you find one you like, you can always star it and it'll be one of your favorites here. But let's just scroll here and see which one we like. All right, we've chosen a nice and clean, simple one there. And then the next screen is going to present us with a really powerful way to find a great clip. The first way is some AI suggested clips over here on the left that you can click through. And whenever you click on one, it'll bring you to a preview of that clip. And so, for instance, Every Christian's Calling, Sharing Jesus Worldwide. If we click on that, it's going to find that suggested clip. And then you can click play. It's going to tell you the total duration is 19 seconds here.
And a missionary on the other side of the world.
And so instead of actually watching these back, you can actually just read through and see, is that something that I think is clippable? And I find that the transcriptions on SermonShots is really accurate. I used to do all of this in Premiere and found myself having to retype a lot of the transcriptions in there. And it makes it really easy to find the right areas. And even if I have listened to the sermon live and I've remembered, I want to clip that one area, I can actually type in here that word or phrase, so missionary, and it'll find that exact spot where that is found. And then I can go to that area and find the right area to start clipping. So I've watched all of the AI suggested clips, and really all of them are pretty good clips. And that's not the truth for some of the free services out there that I've tried utilizing in the past that are just like the most random clip of your sermon ever that you're like, this has no meaning. So these are more purposeful and it seems to do a better job. So I really like this Go and Witness Reaching the Unreached clip that it's pulled, but I want to add a little section from another part of the sermon to this clip. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to add a couple of these clips. And it shows here that my total duration is 1 minute 19 seconds. I like to try and keep that under 1.5 minutes typically. Now we're going to hit next to compile our edit together here. So once you've chosen your section of your sermon to compile into a reel, then it's going to take you into your clip preview where you can do some of the editing of your clip and add on your captions, logos, other fun stuff like that. So here we are in the clip preview. Starting here at the top, you can always go back and change the template here and update your color palette. And there's always little info boxes here where you can get more information like you would see on most websites, get help. And you can see I've added in our branding colors. There is a branding section in SermonShots that can sometimes be helpful. And so maybe you want to update some of this stuff to your brand. You can do that. And you can update the fonts here. Like if we want to go with like Bebus, it's like one that I like a lot of times. It's pretty legible. You can also upload custom fonts, but let's stick with Bebus for now. You can upload a logo that's always there, ready to go. So ours populates there. You can also select music if you want to. They've added in a bunch of different stock music that you can preview and add in if you want to have that as a background and control how loud that is. Something that we're going to definitely try out is this new 2.0 AI camera crew. Because if you're like me, sometimes your camera guys don't always keep pastor perfectly centered, or maybe you have locked off camera shots and he's kind of walking back and forth. I find the AI camera crew does better if you don't have a camera that is panning, like if it is a locked off shot and he's just walking back and forth. It seems to do better than if you have one that's trying to keep him centered and it's failing. So we'll see how it handles this because we have a mixture of different shots that it's popping between. And then also you can preview it here, which is really handy to see the overlays of how your stuff is going to get cut off by the different overlays on the different social media. So we'll stick with Instagram here. You can also scale your video clip up and down to make it bigger or smaller. We'll stick with a hundo here. And you can move the clip. If you have somebody who's just perfectly centered, you may not need to use the AI video camera crew. You can just move the clip and center it how you need it. We're not going to have ours fade on and off. We just want it to loop incessantly on people in the reels. Here you can add animations for your captions and choose which fonts it's going to use, if you want it to have italics or not, or be all caps or not. Bebus is already all caps, and so we're just going to stick with all caps there. Centered, left, right alignment, all of those different things. And you can add another text element to the screen if you wanted to. Some of the templates on SermonShots allow you to add like a hook at the beginning of your reel, which can be handy where you're trying to grab the attention of the viewer to tell them what the reel is about. So you can try those out as well. But if we scrub through here, you can see like right there, he goes off of the screen. So let's implement the AI camera crew and give it time to work and see how it handles that shot. And while that's working, let's go ahead and I like to kind of move my captions maybe more centered into the middle, and it's going to give you some guides here to help you out with that, which is handy. So let's cheat to the left just a little. Let's see what this looks like on different areas. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I like that shadow on there. That font size is pretty good. If we click on this layer button right here above our preview window, you can see our different layers here. Like if we don't want to show certain areas of the editor here, like the graphical elements, you can always disable those and not have them as a part of, like those little dots in the top left. Like let's take those off. Maybe we don't need those. Or maybe you don't want the logo on there. So you don't always have to have every part of the template enabled, even though it's part of the template. It's just there for you. So going into your layers allows you to adjust some of that stuff. You know, there's debates on whether trending audio is helpful or not for your Instagram Reels, whether it's better to just keep it authentic and less produced, or, you know, you can try whatever method you want. But there is built-in audio here if you want to add to the vibe. Like, for instance, we could throw on this slow piano here if we wanted to. So we'll click that check mark and go back over here to our music, and maybe we can turn that volume down to 25%.
There are 7,000 unreached people groups around the world. That's millions upon millions of people who've never heard of the name of Jesus. And Jesus says, we are supposed to go and tell them. Be my witnesses.
Adds a nice little vibe to it.
60% of our community doesn't know Jesus.
It looks like the AI Camera Crew 2.0 has finished up. Took a couple of minutes there since it's a longer clip. Let's see how it did.
7,000 unreached people groups around the world. That's millions upon millions of people who've never heard of the name of Jesus. And Jesus says, we are supposed to go and tell them. Be my witnesses. But the truth is,
looking good.
60% of our community doesn't know Jesus.
There you go. It's keeping it centered.
Some of us need to just go next door.
Okay, he's going to walk to his right here. Will it pull with him? There you go. It slid.
Some of you students need to just turn around.
Nice.
And talk to the person behind you. We are called.
Yeah, so I thought it did a really good job. That was not the easiest clip to track, even whenever I've tried to utilize the Premiere or CapCut before to track those things. It's never perfect, but having it built into a web-based UI like this that can do all of this in one thing is really handy. So now we're going to just make sure everything is how we want it. One thing I didn't show is, like, if a word is incorrect, you can always just retype that back there in that transcription. If something's not correct, you can always hit previous, go back. You're not going to lose what you've worked on here. And then just come back into this clip preview. But once we're ready to go, if you click the arrow here, you have a couple of options, highest quality and smaller size. I recommend what they recommend, the highest quality, because it's going to give you the best options here. And what I love is these social descriptions that they offer by default, because it's kind of a pain in the butt to, like, come up with your own little short description for Insta or for YouTube, Facebook, that, you know, summarizes what the clip is about. So you can always just copy and paste these. And what's cool is you have a couple of different options that you can go with here. I like this did you know. And then once this is actually kind of compiled the clip, you can hit download clip, and now it's going to download the file to your computer. And then you can, for me, the easiest way is usually just to airdrop it to my iPhone and natively upload it to those platforms of choice. And what used to take me maybe an hour to complete a reel with captions and all of the different things and cutting it all together now might take me 15 minutes in SermonShots. So that's one of the great things about SermonShots, but let's dive into some of the AI stuff that I really enjoy using. You can generate sermon images and thumbnails really easily, and what this does is, like, you can grab an image from your upload into SermonShots and, like, remove the background and throw it onto one of their templates, and even it'll automatically give you quote options from the sermon that it thinks are good, which are usually good, like these quotes and verses. and you can make an image from these right here, which is great. You can use this generated discussion guide right here that has really, really great summaries that you can use for your small groups. It's got a 5-day devotional where you literally could take this and create a post every day of the week, maybe on your church's Facebook group that's maybe a closed group, to reinforce points from the sermon. And you may have to go in and just really hone in on something specific that you want it to focus on, but we found that it's been really pretty good. It's got the transcription as well. I like the blog post for a little summary. The audio is not something we have dived into because we do our audio a different way, but that is something that they offer. I like the summary because it gives you a short, a long, a YouTube, and a social media teaser. Social media teaser is great for like on our website for underneath where we post our videos. You know, you could have that in the little description of that, or, you know, YouTube, this one may be a little bit long, so you could use the social media teaser there underneath as a description. So Sermon Send, if you come in here, this is what you could send to your church, or embed even maybe this page onto your Church Center app or something like that. This is something I need to look into more. It's a new feature here that SermonShots is rolling out, and that if it's anything like the things that SermonShots has done in the past, it's going to just grow and become more feature rich, and you're going to see the value there. So I'm excited to see where this feature goes with SermonShots. Now let's talk about the pricing, as I'm sure you're curious about it. You can either pay monthly or yearly. Obviously, you're going to get a better rate if you pay yearly. So let's look at that. You can either get the $39.99 a month plan. That's going to get you unlimited sermon clips, 10 hours of video uploads per month, the transcription services, and audio for podcasts. But really, the value is found in the Silver Suite for me. I love all the AI features that they have implemented that you can see there that we'll dive into here. And that's $57 a month. And I think the value is there because of how it frees up so much of your time as a worship media arts pastor, because SermonShots is so easy that you literally could have your secretary up front now creating reels and content, or any volunteer for that matter, helping you create content for your social media. So if you have any questions about SermonShots, let me know in the comments of this video. I will be posting a link in the description of this video, and it helps the channel out if you use that link. And again, this video is sponsored by SermonShots. I want to say thank you to them for supporting the channel and for supporting the Capital C Church by creating products like SermonShots that include Sermon Send and Sermon Live. And I'm excited to see how they continue to implement technology to help us make much of Jesus. Because remember, at the end of the day, we can do a lot of great things. Let's keep doing it all for God's glory. We'll see you guys in the next one.